Donald versus Lineker. Let's start at the bottom. The first fight is Devin Clark versus Alex Nicholas. And Devin Clark was on that looking for a fighter thing with Dana White. He looks decent. He's 6-0, and he's fighting Alex Nicholson, who's 6-2. I feel like it's pretty clear they're just trying to feed this guy a fight because they're trying to build up those looking for a fight guys. So I'll pick Devin Clark. I say he wins by knockout, probably in the first round. Next is Ronnie Yaya versus Matthew Lopez, and Matthew Lopez was also on that looking for a fight thing, but he's 8-0 and he looks decent everywhere, but he's fighting a guy in Ronnie Yaya who's been around forever, and he's fought dudes, in my opinion, who are way better. I feel like this is going to be like that other guy who does look good, but when he came in, he got knocked out. I think Matthew Lopez is going to try. He looks like primarily a grappler, and if you're like a new up-and-coming grappler going up against Ronnie Yaya, you're probably going to get submitted or lose a decision. So, like I just said, I think Ronnie Yaya is the better grappler. He's got more experience. He's fought better people, so I think he's either going to win by decision or submission. Next is Scott Holtzman versus Cody Pfister, and Cody Pfister is a decent wrestler, but that's about it. I think Scott Holtzman's got better striking and better wrestling. I think Cody Pfister won't be able to take him to the ground, and I don't think he'll be able to strike with him. So I think Scott Holtzman will probably win by decision or TKO. Next is Courtney Casey versus Kristen Tucci. I'm going to pick Christina. I think she just looks a little bit better everywhere. I think her jiu-jitsu is a little bit better. I think Courtney Casey's got a little bit better striking, but that's about it. I think overall, though, Christina's a little bit better. Both of these chicks haven't looked great in the UFC so far, but maybe they'll turn it around. So I'm going to pick Christina. Next is Eric Spicely versus Sam Alvey. And Eric Spicely was just on this season Ultimate Fighter, the 205 one, but he's moving down to middleweight, which is fucking irritating. I won't lie. I feel like they have all these 205 seasons from time to time, but all the dudes move down to middleweight. So it's like, what the fuck is the point? You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's so goddamn irritating when you watch these seasons of like the guy who won weighed in at like 180, 190. What was it? 8. He clearly didn't cut any weight, so he's gonna move down to middleweight. It's just irritating that the winner of the last season was a middleweight, and it's just fucking irritating that 205 never gets new talent. I think the last guy that won that stayed there was Corey Anderson, but he hasn't looked great, so it's just irritating. But either way, Eric Spicely doesn't look great. I think that he's got some decent jiu-jitsu, but that's about it. I think Sam Alvey's the better striker, better wrestler. I think he'll be able to keep it standing, and eventually he'll catch Eric Spicely and win by first round knockout, maybe second. Next is Lauren Murphy versus Caitlin Cook, and I'm gonna pick Lauren Murphy. I think her first fight in the UFC she lost to Sarah McMahon. She just got out wrestled, and then she got robbed against what's her face? I can't remember, but she clearly won this fight that went the other way, and she won her last fight by TKO. And I feel like she's probably one of the most underrated chicks in the weight class that she's in, and I feel like they're giving her another easy fight just because, like I said, I think that she's really good, and they're trying to slowly build her up. So I'm going to pick Lauren Murphy to win by TKO just because she's the better striker. Next is Louis Smolka versus Ben Nguyen. And Ben Nguyen, like I've said in the past, I don't know how good this guy is. He's looked good in his 2 fights, but he's a striker, and when you look at his record, all of his losses are knockout losses. So it's like, I don't know. And I know for a fact Louis is the better grappler of the two just based on what I've seen so far. Ben's probably the better striker, but will he be able to keep it standing? My guess is probably not. I feel like Lewis has got good enough striking where he can keep up with him, and then eventually he'll take it to the ground. And I feel like Lewis is just going to be a couple levels above Ben on the ground. So I'm going to pick Lewis to win by late second, maybe early third, rear naked choke. Next is Kyle Noke versus Kenta Nakamura, and Kyle Noke is super inconsistent, in all honesty. It's just really hard to pick him sometimes because there'll be fights where he beats guys that I think are either just as good as him or better, and then he'll lose to guys that were worse than the guys he just beat. So it's just really weird with him how he's beaten guys like Peter Sobata, and I'm trying to think of who else. Like, he's beaten good guys, but then he'll lose to like the guy he just lost to, who was not that good. You know, he's some random dude who was like 11-3, who stepped up on short notice, and it was like, what the fuck? So, with Kenta Nakamura, he's 1-1 since he came back, but he fought 2 really good dudes. He fought Jing Liang and Tom Breeze, and in both fights he looked really good. He lost to Tom Breeze, but even though he lost, I felt like he put up a good fight in every single round. Kind of like how Sun Tzu did against Dillashaw, where even though he was losing, he's still putting up a fight. And I feel like with Nakamura, he's just a little bit more consistent, and I feel like his grappling's better. And we've seen that Noak has had trouble with really good jiu-jitsu guys in the past. That's where most of his losses have been to, is guys who have better overall jiu-jitsu than him. And I do think Nakamura has better jiu-jitsu than him, so I'm going to say Nakamura wins by either decision or submission. Next is Daniel Omielanchuk versus Olenki. Oh my god, this is fucking Russian dude. I'm going to pick Olenki. I feel like Daniel Omielanchuk's biggest weakness is he's never beaten a really good grappler. All of his wins, he's like 3-2 in the UFC, and all of his wins have come against strikers, and his 2 losses were against guys who are better grapplers than him. And I think Olenki is definitely a way better grappler than him. Most of his wins have come by submission, even though his wins in the UFC have come by knockout, which is kind of weird. But I feel like he's definitely the better grappler. I don't know if he'll submit Daniel, but I think Olenki will win either by decision or submission. Next is Tim Boetsch versus Josh Shaman, and I'm going to pick Josh. I feel like he's still in the prime of his career, and Tim Boetsch has just not looked great. I think he's gone 1-4 in his last 5. And, you know, that fight that he won was against Brad Tavares, and I felt like Tavares was winning until he got caught. So, yeah, Tim Boetsch has just been looking worse and worse, and he's been getting knocked out more and more. So I think Josh Shaman will probably kind of do what Ed Herman did. He'll get a tie plum on him and probably knock him out with, like, a knee in the first round. Next is Tony Ferguson versus Landon Vanathan. I'm just gonna call him Landon. So this fight was supposed to be the main event, Michael Chiesa versus Tony Ferguson, which looked like a super interesting fight. But Michael Chiesa like broke his hand or something. So you know, Landon looks like a solid up and comer, but he's fighting somebody way too good. I mean, Tony Ferguson's just gonna blast this dude. He's probably gonna outstrike him, outgrapple him, and it's probably gonna end in the first, maybe the second. There's not much to say about this fight. It's just unfortunate that Landon's got to fight somebody way better than him right off the bat. So, like I said, Ferguson by finish. Finally, we got Michael McDonald versus John Lineker. And this fight, I feel like it pays really well into Michael McDonald's hands. I think John Lineker likes to hit takedowns from time to time and be on top. Like, not really hit takedowns, but he's easy to get pulled to the ground. And I feel like if he gets pulled to the ground with Michael McDonald can submit him. And I also think that his super aggressive striking style really favors Michael McDonald, because Michael McDonald likes to counter, and guys that are super aggressive like John Lineker, you know, are easy to counter. That's what he wants. He wants somebody who's not going to be patient and wait for openings. Like, you know, the guys that Michael McDonald have, you know, even though he won that last fight, I felt like the guy was fighting really smart. He was waiting for Michael McDonald to come to him, and then he was shooting on him, the Japanese guy. He just forced an arm triangle and then got caught. But if he had just stuck to that game plan of grinding him out, he probably would have won, because he obviously was just waiting on Michael McDonald. And that's why it's just like, you know, with Uriah Faber too. Uriah Faber was just playing the outside game, and he wasn't overcommitting to anything, wasn't letting him counter. And then when it was on the ground, he's clearly a better grappler than him, so he wasn't going to get submitted. John Lineker doesn't have any of those skills. His only skill is he's got solid takedown defense. He's good at getting up, and then he applies a lot of pressure and he uses high volume with power. But all those things favor McDonald, in my opinion. I feel like his counter-striking and his grappling are better than Lineker's, and I just feel like he's going to win by submission probably sooner or later. I just want to say, this fight is tomorrow on Wednesday. I thought it was going to be on Friday or Saturday. That's why I didn't put this video up until today, because I just was doing normal time. So if you guys didn't know, this fight card is tomorrow. It's on the 13th. So just want to let you guys know. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.